Good evening, racing fans, and welcome to Speed Gaming and the Link to the Past Randomizer Daily Race. We're playing Inverted Keysanity today. So, we're starting in the Dark World. We are Bunny in the Light World, and every key in every map and compass in the dungeons has been shuffled. And we've got different starts here. Frostbite 3030 on our left is going from the Link's House start to check Stumpy, while Fear Agent is starting at the Dark Chapel, which usually means we're going to see an early Skull Woods dive. Because there are two things about an early Skull Woods dive that come in handy here. We've got to mushroom it for Stumpy for Frostbite. But the early Skull Woods dive has a guaranteed bombs when you drop down in this hole, which Fear Agent is showing us right now. And then you can get several checks in here easily as well. But I believe Fear is going to die here a couple of times to get several bombs, because bombs are an early resource that you just do not have. So, for those who don't know about Inverted Keysanity, it is Inverted World 7-7 Keysanity defeat Ganon. As a result, we need to be able to get into Hyrule Castle Tower to defeat Agatu and fight Ganon. Unfortunately, bombs did not hit the berries, which makes this room really difficult. As inverted logic comes up, I will explain some of the quirks of it. Turtle Rock is a good example of quirky logic. As Frostbite's dropping into the left side of Skull Woods, which I don't remember if Inverted Keysanity guarantees key, and unfortunately that Gibdo decided to get in the way like he likes to do for Fear Agent. I do think that's a Bob Ross sprite. That's a hammer. But I think that's a Bob Ross sprite for Frostbite. As Fear Agent is going to take his bombs and go south to Hype Cave. And with no small key in the basement, Frostbite has to save and quit out of Skull Woods, and there's a lamp and a fire rod. So our fire sources are Hype Cave, and a glove. That is a very hype cave. So the fire rod does mean that we can get one more item out of Skull Woods because we can get to the back. We still can't get to Mothula because we don't have a sword. So you have a couple of options. One is to go back into Skull Woods. The other is to go down to Village of Outcasts, which looks like Fear is going to go to Village of Outcasts and the front of Thieves Town. Thieves Town is another lucrative spot early because you have 4 checks right clumped together that are very easy to acquire with a little bit of dodging of the enemies, as well as 3 checks outside, including another 3 bomb drop in C-shaped house. And we have Thieves Town. With no big key, we can only get the front 4. And the first two of these front four have not been very useful so far. So we're hoping for some more useful items coming from here. We also have Death Mountain and the Pyramid in logic as well. Because we have a hammer, we have a glove, and we have a lamp for hammer for the Pyramid and glove and lamp to get to Death Mountain. Alright, the 300 rupees is a big find for these runners because that allows us to buy chest game and dig game and pod access. Fear Agent going directly to chest game. We'll be seeing them finish out the Village of Outcasts area here. With the brewery, we'll have the dig game check. And I believe Fear Agent still has to go around to Stumpy as well. And there's the bug net. Bug net's a nice safety to have if you have some bottles, but without bottles, it's not vastly useful to us. Though you can fight. If you can get to an Agnum fight, so say if you're playing a Swordless Seed, you can get into fight him with it, or you can just fight him with Bug net for fun when you get up there. And our dig game. "25 digs for the map of Swamp Palace." So from here, Frostbite has a couple of options, going from the Dark Chapel, but it looks like Frostbite is going to go with a trip up to Death Mountain. Now, you see that small key on Bumper Ledge. That takes 2 items in addition to... Once you're in the light world, that takes 2 items. Gloves and mirror. Because Bumper Cave has moved to the light world, while Old Man Rescue has moved to the dark world. So Bumper Cave spits you out at light world Bumper Ledge, and you have to mirror from Bumper Cave to get the item there. So that key is several items out of the way at the moment. And Dacto, unfortunately, is a 3-heart damage and will bring down Fear Agent in 1 hit. So you have to hope you hit that hammer. As for the Old Man Rescue, you have to go to the Light World still. So you have to go all the way up the mountain, go through the Dark World portal that has been placed at the Old Man... the Dark World portal placed in the eastern part of Death Mountain here, just past the bully and his soccer ball friend, and then go back down the mountain to the Old Man Cave. And that is a fantastic sprite. Right. And Fear Agent does make it into Old Man Cave on the 2nd try. While Half Magic is not a required item, that is a very useful pickup. Frostbite at this point is climbing the mountain again because the item in Spectacle Rock Cave can be accessed from your bunny form, but you cannot go into the cave when you're bringing the Old Man with you. that is a key. That is the key to Ice Palace. And there's a bottle on Spectacle Rock that I forgot to mention. I also love the Minish bunny sprite being a bunny head instead of the Link head in the Minish bubble. So, the only other checks up here that Frostbite's going up here for, that portal, that stairway is not there in the Light World, is your access up to Ganon's Tower building, which is actually Aghanim's Tower now. They've switched Castle Tower and Ganon's Tower in inverted Keysanity. So, with being Keysanity, there are 2 items in Castle Tower, and the Moon Pearl is in Castle Tower. I thought I saw Frostbite go past that. So, Frostbite with Moon Pearl, Moon Pearl, Glove, and Hammer has access to the Light World now. So, and that opens up a ridiculous number of items that you can pick up. It also lets you find out the hint for the red crystals, which today are in Eastern and Desert. Beautiful work from Fear getting those guards clumped together, and then a bomb for the Death Warp to get out of there. So Fear, unfortunately, still doesn't have a hammer. So Fear is actually going to be crossing the mountain, probably. You just have to be able to get past these Lionels. And here at Uncle today, we have our first sword in the Uncle chest. And just a little piece of love from the Uncle. To answer chat, Hammer was in Skullwoods, locked by... So you can self-lock inside, and this is not an Enemizer seed. And Frostbite is going into the Hyrule Castle. And Fear's going back to get to the Gibdo room again. With the Fire Rod, he can kill the Gibdos easily. And especially helps when you get a full magic drop from the Gibdo and a blue mail off of the Boomerang chest. Fear Agent waiting for the Wallmaster to come take him away. And it's always worth noting when you're doing Skullwoods that there's a small key over here you can then take to the left side. Or excuse me, to the right side. Although Fear is actually going to go take the Fire Rod and check the back of the Skullwoods bridge check. And Frostbite takes a Death Warp out of Zelda's cell. Frostbite checked the locked section of Skull Woods, while Fear did not, and tried to check the Gibdo check instead. And here in Darkcross, Frostbite's trying to set up a Death Warp out of here, and there's a big key to Tower of Hera. So Tower of Hera is another one of those dungeons where the access requirements have been changed because of the inverted layout. To get to that Tower of Hera, we're going to need the hook shot, because we either the hook shot or the mitts, because we're going to need to be able to get to Eastern Death Mountain. And the way to do that is either take the portal on the back of Turtle Rock, or check the or cross the gap like we usually do in a normal open seed. And Fear Agent gets his hammer from the pot prison. And it looks like Frostbite's going to be giving us a mushroom check. That mushroom did come extremely early, so it's easy to want either forget or just keep it in your mind to do it as soon as you can. It was just some bombs today, so it didn't completely pay off. Ooh, and we're going to see Frostbite take the fake flipper to cross back over to the back of Sanctuary by the look of it. Graveyard Cave is accessible without any items once you're in the light world, because you can get in. Well, you need Moon Pearl to do it, of course, but you don't need to mirror from anywhere, because your mirror actually takes you from the light world to the dark world. As a result, caves like Cave 45, Graveyard Ledge, and Checkerboard Cave are accessible without those items, and Bombo's Tablet would also be accessible via a ladder. I apologize for the. I'll see if I can we can get that lowered a bit today. And I think that's our first bottle from the Sanctuary. Fear Agent is getting his mini Moldorm Cave check done with bombs. Oh, chat has corrected me. That is our second bottle. I missed where the first one was. But with it, the first bottle was found at some point, and now let's get the Sick Kid check. Fear Agent's heading out to Ice Rod Cave. Kills Crab, gets shocked by the Buzz Blob. Zealous had a blue potion. Thank you, chat. And while we have a brief moment, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Professor Pixie, our tracker today, who gets to help keep me honest on this today. Clicking buttons and letting us see what's all been found. Alright, Kakariko Village. There's a lot of items here, item potential here. Meanwhile, I think Fear Agent is going to be giving us a fake flipper. In Blind Sight, we have a map, we have a key to Dark Palace, the big key of Turtle Rock, a Misery Mire small key, and 20 rupees. And Fear Agent has taken us over to the Waterfall of Wishing, which unfortunately does not have the 500 rupees to buy King Zora out yet. But we'll be able to see what's on Zora's ledge. Which is just a heart container. Ooh, looks like Fear Agent did not mean to go aground on that. And Frostbite's in red mail. Right. Thank you to Mind for getting audio settings changed for us. And Fear Agent returning to the Light World will be acquiring items from... actually, I don't know where he'll be going yet. But it looks like he is going to go do the Hyrule Castle play. So he will be getting his sword shortly. Alright, the map of Tower of Hera is useful because we can... if Frostbite checks map, we'll be able to know what the last Light World dungeon is. Frostbite doing a blind check of the race game. Given that you want to continue south from here anyways, it's not a big problem at all. And if it's something good, you saved the time you take going back around. It is just a map today. What map is it? The Skull Woods map. Library was a 20 rupee, Professor. And a single rupee at K45. And you can see how K45 has been leveled down to the same plane in order to account for the fact that you can't mirror onto that ledge like you can in open or standard seed. Fear Agent acquires blue mail. And Agina only has a piece of heart for us today. Fear Agent setting up the Death Warp on the Ball and Chain Guard. picking up his blue potion, and death warping with a bomb. Excellent foresight to plan your death warp ahead of time. And Frostbite's going to give us another map pickup. And it is just the escape map. That is a map you just don't want to see because it can't even give you information. And there's a red pendant on the Tower of Hera. Stumpy is still in the Dark World. It's unusual. Link is transported to Dark World and is unaffected by the dark magics. But people like the Smith and Stumpy are still affected and are in their alternate forms. Ooh, I missed that when Fear went through. That was the big key of Thieves Town. And yes, thank you for asking. That maps in Keysanity let you see what dungeon prize is on the dungeon. As my tracker said today. Fear fake flippers to the witch. That is correct. The music does get randomized in dungeons, so you cannot rely on music to tell you what is appended and what is on a crystal. So the only way to get reliable information is to pick up one of those maps, with the exception of the green pendant, which you can learn from Sahasrara, and the red crystals that you need to get the big bomb, which you can learn from the bomb shop owner. Frostbite saving and quitting out of Ice Rod Cave. Let's see where Frostbite decides to go next. It looks like Dark Chapel. So there's a couple of obvious places that could be gone to. With a fire rod and a sword, we do have access to Mothula. In addition, the big key gave us access to Thieves Town, and we have a green pendant ice palace, as well as crystals on Turtle Rock, Swamp Palace, and Skull Woods. It looks like Frostbite is going for the Skull Woods play. As Fear Agent goes toward the... It looks like Fear Agent is going to Lumberjack Cave. It's always good to know what item is blocked by boots and the Aga Tower keys. Is just a piece of art today. And Frostbite takes the Wallmaster elevator. And it looks like Frostbite will be paying a visit to Mothula. Fighter Sword Mothula isn't too bad. Frostbite also has a hammer and a blue potion for any needed magic refills. In addition to Red Mail, which, well, Red Mail does not affect the spikes in Mothula's arena, does affect the contact damage and the beam damage of Mothula. And we have our first boss fight of the run today, of the restream. Frostbite electing to go with a hammer. And Mothula just wants to hug that right wall, which is only unfortunate because when Mothula gets knocked into a spike, Mothula takes no damage. Switching to the Fire Rod. And Mothula goes down for Frostbite, which will be our first crystal pickup. And yes, Professor Pixie, half magic does help here. Frostbite picks up the heart container in the back of Skull Woods and saves and quits. Returning to the Dark Chapel. As Frostbite returns to Thieves' Town. It is worth noting that while you can get to Blind, it is considered out of logic without the small key because you can lock yourself out of opening the attic, but it is very rare for that to occur. And these runners do prioritize finishing the dungeon over picking up the big chests in every scenario. As going for the dungeon clear is 2 checks compared to the big chest's 1. Because without the small key and opening the big chest, you can't get the attic chests in addition to blowing open the attic skylight and fighting blind. And here in the Thieves' Town attic, we just have to navigate past these crickets. Crickets, grasshoppers, pick your animal of choice. For 10 arrows. So, knowing what we do about our dungeons we need to do so far, we can see another one of our quirks of Inverted. To access Desert Palace, we hard require the book. And only 300 rupees in the back of the cell. And blind day, the beach, I'm not sure I can make it. Thank you, Blind, for being a better comedian than I am. Fear Agent heads to the Dark World, as Frostbite executes very well in that blind fight to get a compass. Now, while maps are useful for information, compasses are mostly not useful because they give you a dungeon item counter for the dungeon they're in, but a lot of runners will track the number of items they have picked up and the number of checks they have made inside that dungeon. It looks like Frostbite is going to be heading to the eastern side of the Dark World. We're going to be getting our first pyramid ledge check. That's an ice rod. We will not be having an ice rod hunt today. As Fear Agent drops down for his Mothula fight. Frostbite looks to be going north to the Catfish. A nice, patient fight with Mothula. Enough fire rod shots, and down goes the moth. That ice rod pickup is important here because we do know Turtle Rock is a crystal. TR is a fun experiment with the inverted logic. And that was a big key to Desert Palace. As Frostbite's going back up the mountain. Oh, right. Frostbite has not crossed to the eastern side of the mountain. Fear Agent, or Frostbite, got the Moon Pearl and left for the Light World. You know, Fear Agent enters Thieves' Town to clear the back half of the dungeon. Neither runner has checked the Skullwood's big chest because neither runner has the Skullwood's big key. And Frostbite's making a trip to Palace of Darkness. I think I said the wrong name, but Frostbite is going to Palace of Darkness. Oh no, Frostbite is taking the portal from Palace of Darkness to go check Sashrala and the Eastern Palace. Yes, that's a simple one to forget, because out of the 13 dungeons, 2 of them do not have... one of them does not have a big key, that being Castle Tower. One of them has a big key that opens one check, and is required in Standard, with being Tower Castle, and then 2 of them only open big chests, being Skullwoods and Swamp Palace. And that is a Cane of Burna. That does put Spike Cave into play. And Fear Agent is going to take on his fight with Blind. Frostbite executed a very good Blind script. Let's see how Fear Agent does. As Frostbite goes into Eastern Palace. Very nice fight from Fear Agent. Don't even joke about GT Big Key on pedestal. That's not a pleasant thing to have on pedestal. So far, no items of interest in Eastern Palace. Yeah, my blind is not that nice, so... And we have an Ice Rod pickup for Fear Agent. And that is a big key of... That is this dungeon's big key. We have the big key of Eastern, French Vanilla. That gives us 1 extra check here. If we get a Vanilla Bow here, that'd be incredible. Well, we got arrows. I guess that counts. Meanwhile, Fear Agent is doing the Palace of Darkness dive. 1 key and no bow, but there could be something behind that 1 key. And Fear does... I know Fear has a potion, and I think Fear knows Mimic Clip. I'm not 100% certain on that. And everybody's favorite scam monkey. Or not... I guess in non-entrance randomization, it is... The monkey doesn't scam you. And there's a small key to Pod, which is a nice thing to find when Pod looks to be a logical play soon. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm not certain, but I know Fear has a potion and will be able to get into bow-locked Palace of Darkness. And Frostbite's making that check on Spike Cave with the Cane of Burna and half magic. Oh, and Fear Agent chooses to open the front door to find the Swamp Palace Big Key. That's not fun. That's a hookshot Spike Cave. So, the hookshot is now access to East Light World Death Mountain. And that should give us access to the bottle on Spectacle Rock and Tower of Hera. But that is also access to Hookshot Cave. Nicely done with the potion camera unlock from Fear Agent. The map of Thieves Town. And the magic mirror. That's a big find as well. And in Hookshot Cave, we have not much here in Hookshot Cave. Trinix does still require the Cane of Samaria. And hello, for those, thank you for that comment made in chat. Fear, Gamma2 makes a comment about Fear needs to win. Gamma2 is Fear Agent's teammate. And Frostbite is going to the eastern side of Death Mountain. Fear Agent will pick up his Cane of Samaria as Frostbite enters Paradox Cave. Nothing in the bottom of Paradox Cave. I will name them as I see them. Going true vertical, not from cave entrance. And that is the small key to Swamp Palace. The Desert Small. And the Master Sword. And Floating Island has Floating Island is accessible from the Light World. Mimic Cave has a ledge to be jumped to. And you can mirror from any of these ledges on the side of East Death Mountain to arrive at the Turtle Rock entrance. And Mimic Cave has the bow. The one downside of Inverted is to get every item off of Death Mountain, you have to climb through Paradox Cave several times. And there's the flippers. So Death Mountain has the bow to put us in logic as well as our access to swamp. And Frostbite will be going to the Tower of Hera side of the map. Elects to leave the bottle on Spectacle Rock. Only 20 rupees in the basement cage. Well, Frostbite has everything needed to get to Turtle Rock except for the mirror. A good Harapot to get to the top of the tower quicker is still in logic because we do have access to this area through normal direction, and that's a tempered sword for Frostbite. Fear Agent going back into Palace of Darkness. Depending on what Fear finds in the back, we'll see more information about the seed. But we can get 3 items here and easily, and we could hammer jump across. And Frostbite brings down Moldorm to get a key, a Meyer small key, and the red pendant. And GT Small was in the dark basement. That's right, the medallion is not explicitly needed to access Turtle Rock, as you can mirror from Mimic Ledge, Spiral Cave Ledge, or Fairy Ascension Ledge, and end up at the appropriate entrance of Turtle Rock. And Fear Agent is giving us that hammer jump. Very nice. That's the Thieves Small. So logically, Blind is blocked by all 6 small keys of Palace of Darkness. Fear is going up the mountain. We'll probably be visiting Hookshot Cave, or excuse me, Spike Cave to get the hookshot. And Frostbite goes into Ice Palace. There's something thematically appropriate about somebody named Frostbite going into Ice Palace. And Bombos in the front of Ice Palace as Fear Agent picks up his hookshot. Frostbite will be showing us the Icebreaker glitch, which allows us to bypass this wall. Very nicely done. Which is the escape key. The escape key doesn't do anything for us, but it does put the 2 items in the basement of Hyrule Castle into logic. And entering the bottom of... entering the Freezor room. Just a map. The GT map that also does not tell us any information. And Frostbite is going to the iced tea chest. The last check we can get without the boss fight. As Fear Agent picks up items along the way in Light World Death Mountain, picks up the flippers. And Fear Agent has gone into the laser eye room of Turtle Rock. Using bombos to break the shell, and then hitting them with fire rod shots. And Frostbite brings down Cold Stare. And looks to be returning to the Palace of Darkness area. Our runners are running over each other's tracks, so I'll take a minute to shout out both of these runners who are putting on a good show for us today. Mir was in Bowlock. I believe the mirror was located at the ledge check in Bowlock Pod. Right. It looks like our exclamation point R is not working today, but we are looking. We have Frostbite 3030 and Fear Agent on the restream, and we have Boots located on Frostbite stream. And we do have commentary working. So shout out again to my tracker, Professor Pixie, putting in good work for us during the course of this race. And technically that was a vanilla shield at Turtle Rock Big Chest. And there's a flute in Crystal Roller. That's delightful. Thank you, game. All right, and it looks like... All right, thank you, Drosy, for fixing our runner command. So follow our runners. They are putting on a great show. And Fear Agent is checking out Laser Bridge. That is an Aga Tower small key. That's the Skullwood's big key. And that's Quake. Fear Agent saves and quits out of Fear Agent saves and quits out of Turtle Rock Laser Bridge. Did not get the red cane out of Tower of Hera, unfortunately. But the flute does allow you to access quite a bit of the world, including, I believe, our access to both the mirror and the flute are our access to the Misery Mire area. But with the flippers, the hook shot, and the small key to Swamp all being up on Death Mountain, we're going to Swamp Palace. It looks like Frostbite is going back to Death Mountain. I believe Frostbite must have picked up the mirror out of Pod and is going to go check Turtle Rock. And there's Ether in the first check of Swamp Palace. Yeah, you don't need flute to get to Misery Mire. It is one of two ways, similar how you... The mirror moves from accessing desert to accessing mire. We will not be having a medallion hunt. That is correct. What we actually have for us today, at the moment, is a Book of Mudora hunt. Something you don't usually have to look for in an open seed. The software does like to eat tracker input. And Frostbite is going directly for Laser Bridge. Nice laser skip. And in the bottom check of Swamp Palace, we have a Skullwood small key. Frostbite has gone all the way to the back of to Laser Bridge because you can actually get to most, if not all, of Turtle Rock, with the exception of the big chest, by going backwards from the entrance. Gets the flute out of Crystal Roller. Fear Agent uses Diver Down to get the small key out of left side swamp so we can get the 2 items from there without having to go around. You know, Book on Ped is a fun consideration, but we'll have to wait and see. I say we'll have to wait. We'd have to wait for Ped check, but if it's on Ped, we won't be getting a Ped check. And we have on left side swamp. Left side swamp did not have anything of note. And going to Chain Chomp room in Turtle Rock will give us Frostbite has to be careful here. Chain Chomps do a ridiculous amount of damage. And at the top of Turtle Rock, Frostbite has half of a heart left. Luckily, that berry did not decide to spark at us today. With half a heart, Frostbite will... I believe there's a heart here we can get, but... Yes, there's 1 heart we can get, so Frostbite will have to pick that up before going through, unless Frostbite goes around the long way. So Frostbite just has to not run into the Crystal Roller, as Fear Agent gets the second bomber down and gets another Palace of Darkness small key. And that's a Turtle Rock small key in Turtle Rock. And Fear Agent will be visiting Argus, and Frostbite will be visiting Trinex. So we've got 2 crystal dungeons being cleared at the same time here. Frostbite gets a quick kill on the Firehead. If the Ice Head decides to lunge at you for some reason, would its attack be a Frostbite? I'm sorry. And Argus goes down for a green rupee, and Trinex goes down for the Magic Cape. Fear Agent will be showing us the Misery Mire area. Now, well, Fear Agent got the book. Was book Left Side Swamp? Book must have been Left Side Swamp because I missed one of the checks while watching Fury. Frostbite screen. So, item-wise, we only need keys. Fear Agent checking Mire Shed. It's worth noting that Fear Agent still needs to find the red cane, which is at Pendant Hera. Spike Cave was Hookshot. Red Cane was Tower of Hera. So Desert is fully clear, but we do have both of our keys here, I believe. Actually, no. One of our runners has... Does Fear have the big key? Now I'm doubting myself. And a single arrow in the map chest today. Fear does not like that. Because Fear has not found the boots in Pod today. And with Swamp and Skullwood's big keys having been located, that is a potentially required big key on... Actually... I think there's only one big key it could be that not be required. And it would have to be our third pendant. That's a big key there, too. Floating Island, or Hylia Island, has our Misery Mire big key. So our last crystal is either Mire or Pod. And there's the book in Left Side Swamp, so that is where we found it for Fear. And that's a small key to Turtle Rock. Yes, Desert Palace is either the Pod big key or the Ganon's Tower big key, and Fear does not have the boots. Fear Agent going into Ice Palace, unfortunately mirrored just a little too far forward. A nice diver down from Frostbite to get into the back of Swamp. And Fear's going back to flip the Crystal Switch. As Frostbite takes on Argus. Showing off a very nice Ice Rod quick kill. You can land 4 consecutive Ice Rod shots for a kill. And Fear doesn't have the cane, has the Ice Palace Bomb Jump. Very nice jump. Ouch, you jerk. Frostbite will be showing us what our big key on the torch is. But given the fact that you have to enter through front and you want to get to the back, you have to go through. The fastest way to get through here is to go right to left. All right, and our mystery of the day, is this Palace of Darkness, or is this Ganon's Tower? And that is the Ganon's Tower big key. That is a required big key. Big chest has 300 rupees. So for those who've joined late today, we've got inverted Keysanity and we've got required boots in Palace of Darkness. Fear has not returned Palace of Darkness to retrieve those shoes. And Fear Agent will be dropping in on Cold Stare. A very quick kill on Cold Stare. And the green pendant pickup. as Frostbite takes on the Land Mullahs. And Fear is going to the Zora area, and will be getting his Desert Palace big key from the Catfish. So what is the Meyer medallion is the question. And that would be the Bombos. So Fear was not able to enter Misery Mire before going to Ice Palace. And there's the other Ice Palace small key on King Zora right after we finish Ice Palace. So Frostbite cannot finish this dungeon because Frostbite does not have the big key off of Hylia Island, I don't think. Very nice Spire 2 from Frostbite. And Fear Agent is going to Village of Outcasts. Fear Agent is going to the Light World from the Village of Outcasts portal. Fear is reading Pedestal. So here's a pet check, everybody. Just pocket change. Which one's pocket change? Because Couch Cash is 20. Is pocket change 5? Okay, chat confirming pocket change is 5, and there's the Pod Big in Misery Mire. And Frostbite's leaving from Misery Mire. So we may have had a map check. I'm wondering if Pod is a crystal. If Pod is a crystal, and based on Frostbite's reaction, I think he knows whether or not Pod's a crystal. Frostbite might be in go mode, but we will not. I cannot say that for certain until we see a crystal come out of Palace of Darkness, as I missed whether a map check said so. But first, we're going back into Eastern to finish the dungeon. And we're going to be having almost simultaneous Eastern clears. And unfortunately, it looks like the controller ate a down input there, and he threw Pot away from the skeleton. But it was quick enough to kill the skeleton with a sword slash after. Both runners going into the back of Eastern. Just Fear Agent, just a couple of rooms trailing Frostbite. Setting up for a quick kill. And Frostbite gets a quick kill with a pod spell on Armos. So the discussion in chat of whether or not he used pod spell, he doesn't anymore. And a nice quick kill from Fear. And going into Palace of Darkness. And based on the item equipment, Frostbite is going directly to Helmasaur. Fear Agent is turning in the green pendant before going back to Pod. Only a 20 rupee, Sahasrara's pocket change. And Fear is fluting away from... Oh no, Fear is fluting away from Palace of Darkness. Oh, Fear is doing Pyramid Fairy. Fear does have the Ice Rod. I believe that was just another tracker input consumption. Because the Ice Rod was on Pyramid Ledge, and Fear did see it. But the tracking software does like to eat inputs, I've heard. And Frostbite heads to visit the... Frostbite visits the Helmasaur King as Fear Agent is going in for Land Molas. Unfortunately, going to be leaving the GT Big Key on the torch. Frostbite brings down Helmasaur King. And the Palace of Darkness is our 7th crystal. Frostbite 3030 is in go mode. Exactly, Uncle Iroh. There are 22 locations in Ganon's Tower. And none of them are needed. Yeah, well, there are 27 locations in Ganon's Tower. We don't need to open any of them. We will probably open the ones on top. Yeah, there are 22 locations in the basement of Ganon's Tower. The Ganon's Tower Big Key is on Desert Torch. Exactly. Frostbite is... Oh, right. Gannon's tower's at the castle. I keep forgetting that sometimes. But we might see some checks opened at the top and potential silvers, but these runners are both at such a high level of play. Both these runners were on teams that made the Invitational League in the Invitational Playoffs in the league, and these runners do not need the silvers. And Landalos goes down for Fear Agent. Fear Agent will be getting the pod big out of Misery Mire, unfortunately, and can't be drawn into finishing the dungeon because does not have the red cane out of Tower of Hera. Frostbite enters the 4th floor, the Gauntlet. Has to be careful, though. Has 3 hearts going into the ice rooms of the Gauntlet. And does not have magic powder to return health from the bunny beam. I believe Frostbite still has a blue potion. Ooh, could not get the last hit in, but got on the first right as the Lando jumped out, was able to get the kill. Now entering what I refer to as the most satisfying rooms in the game. Because that is satisfying. And 2. Yes, that is a delightful room to go through with a Cane of Samaria. Torches 1. And here in Torches 2. Leaves the checks in Mini Helma. Yeah, Frostbite is not opening checks along the way, so we'll probably find out where silvers are from Ganon right before Phase 4. And there's the Mirror Shield in Misery Mire. Fear Agent is going to clear dungeon up to the boss, but cannot reach boss without the red cane. Frostbite is approaching everyone's favorite subject in school, agathometry. Starting off with a not too favorable triangle pattern. A nice double off of that. That looked like a second double to me. Ooh, only a single because the orb hit him before he could get the slash out. And down goes Aghanim 2, leaving only the pig. We don't have to deal with blue balls because of it was Aghanim 2 and not Aghanim 1. This cutscene just looks a little bizarre with the bat flying in through the wall. But crashing through the floor of the castle is an exciting scene, as Fear Agent is going back to Palace of Darkness. Alright, and Phase 1 is complete for Ganon. That should be enough hits for Phase 2 as well. So welcome to Phase 3. We just have to hit 4 times. Ooh, has to be careful. Has 1 heart left, and a fire bat still came out. But was able to get inside to get the next hit and deny another fire bat. And no extra warps from Ganon today. Tower of Hera. The silvers are in Hera basement. And it will take a total of 12 spins on Ganon to kill him. We're at 5, I think. 6? This is a beautifully executed torch triples. Right, and down goes Pig for Frostbite. So once Frostbite gets across this 1x3 bridge, you can get your GGs ready in chat for Frostbite 3030. Finishing in first place, both in the race and on Restream, with an official racetime.gg time of 1:38:49. Congratulations to Frostbite. Meanwhile, Fear Agent enters the back of Palace of Darkness on the way to Helmassar King. Fear Agent entering the fight with the Helmassar. Several of these credit lines are vanilla. Some ones that don't tend to be vanilla. Uncle Item can affect what it says. Whatever's that Witch's Hut can affect what affects the Witch's line. And most importantly, it will always tell you what item sleeps again on pedestal. Fear isn't going back into pods to look for the red cane. Fear is a red cane and a big key to Ganon's Tower from Go mode, and we know where both of those are. Also, Sahasrahla always gets... Sahasrahla tends to get changed to make fun of his name. That's hard to spell. And welcome to the commentary booth, Frostbite 3030. GG on your win.
Hey, thanks, dude. I don't know if I've ever had a run that went better. Like, honestly, like every single choice I made, I think paid off in the end, like to a level that was unbelievable how well that went for me.
That seed laid itself out very nicely for you.
Yeah, like the number of turning points that could have happened where I could have made a different choice, like the Moon Pearl, you could have gone to pod first, got the mirror, had a whole bunch of different options. I feel like getting the mirror, having 4 keys before I went to pod, I feel like is going to be the difference between what I did and what everyone else did, because it allowed me to gamble. Like, whenever I have 4 small keys and no big key, my goal is to get 14 or to get 12 of the 14 items, which means I'm checking both of the single key chests. And like, a lot of people are going to leave those boots behind, and then the GT big key is the only thing behind those boots. Now, you'll probably see it sitting there on the Desert Torch, so maybe it's not the end of the world, but the boots could be in GT, right? So, like, that could have been an absolute nightmare. And then, like, going into Mire at the end paid off as well. I couldn't believe it was in the chest it was in. Like, I was going in there, I don't really mark Mire keys always accurately, so I only had 1 of them marked on my tracker. And I was thinking, you know what? I'm not going to do those 2 Firelock chests because the only thing I'm missing is the pod big key. It can't be in GT. One of these Mire keys is probably in GT. So like these chests aren't going to be in Logic. Let's just skip them. And then I went into the dungeon and I saw that I had 2 of the small keys. And I was thinking, oh, you've done this before, Frost. Let's not go find the last Mire key on Helmasaur and come back here crying. So I decided I'm just going to do everything. And then when the big key chest had the pod big key, I was just like, wow, this went so well. I'm going to win this race for sure. And I don't often think that. So.
And if I could just interject a second, and Fear Agent has forfeited from the race, so do please get your GGs in chat for Fear Agent.
Yeah, GG's to Fear Agent. I feel like this is because he wished everyone in the race except myself good luck, and that's what you get, man. No, I'm kidding. GG's to him. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah, but no, man, I got so lucky. Like my first finals league match is tomorrow afternoon against Yoshi. And I'm really worried that I wasted all of my luck in this race. So, like...
Right, and welcome Fear Agent to the booth.
GG
Fear Agent.
Right? What the heck?
Dude, this is what you get for wishing everyone else but me luck. I got all the luck.
Yeah. I don't want to ever hear anybody call me lucky again. Where's the Samaria?
Tower of Hera.
Yeah, Hera. Yeah. But no, that was I got super lucky there, man. That was the first thing I said when I got on this call was I've never had a run where like basically every choice I made when I had a choice to make ended up being the right one. Did you find the boots? Like, were you in go? How close were you to the end? I have no sense.
I just found the boots. Don't tell me you got the boots early.
I didn't get them early, but I got them my first trip into pod because I went to pod super late. Because I went up the mountain. I have 4.
Okay, so I went there with 1 key before I went to Eastern.
Yeah. See, I was so stubborn about going to pod. I was going over to the pod Eastern area, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into pod or Eastern, and I decided to go into Eastern instead because I felt kind of bad about not having found anything for a while. And then I went into Eastern / Saha, found the blue cane, and I was like, well, I don't have like pod. I only had I had the 1 key, so it was like 3 items in Logic. So I was like, I'm not going to rush pod still. I'll go check this Mimic Cave, and that broke everything open, obviously, getting the hook shot there, and that opened everything. So I had 4 keys, and because I didn't have the big key yet, I was going to check all the chests, so I just checked the big key chest right away when I walked in the dungeon. And I was like, wow, this is going to totally screw people over.
How early did you do ice?
I did ice before pod, but after I had the flippers. It was the first thing I did after I had the flippers.
You didn't do swamp?
I didn't have the mirror.
He did ice before pod.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There were 2 small keys in pod. The pod in
That's what this game is so dumb. I continue to wonder why I continue to play this game.
Yeah.
Like, I got that early mirror, and what did it get me? Nothing. It got me nothing.
Absolutely not. And I said when I got in the call right before you were here, Fear, I said that not getting the mirror early, it helped me for sure.
It's such a stupid game. It's so dumb.
When you get valuable items, then it hurts you. Yeah.
I don't.
You know, it's like why does the addict continue to use? I could also maybe not answer that question myself, but on the other hand, it feels good like when I'm on the other end of this. I had 6 or 7 terrible runs in a row, and I finally got a good one, and it's like the one good one doesn't pay off for it, but we still do it, and I have no answers.
I think the last time I won a race was August. That's just, like, why do I do this?
I don't even know what month it is. Like, yeah. No, I'm kidding. I'm back. Like, it's like almost getting back into normal life again. But yeah, that was really interesting. Like, you're right. Getting the mirror early, it didn't help. It led you to other places, and like, yeah, not getting the mirror sent me into ice because I didn't have a lot of good options. I had like Zora. Like, that was another thing that paid off for me. Like, I specifically didn't farm money for Zora and put it off. And then because of that, it like drove me more into other things like ice, because I was like, oh, I don't want to go over there for that one thing. I felt really stupid when I was at Ice Rod Cave with like 355 rupees. And I'm like, I don't want to pick up this rock and go in there like 6 or 7 times. So let's just hope. But yeah, like, it was like I feel like the boots are so rude in this seed, and I feel like I got them basically about as early as you possibly could have, and was super lucky in the fact that like the mirror didn't like, it opened TR for me, but I got the medallions at some point too, so maybe I could have got in there, and I never found the keys for it. But yeah, I skipped so many required keys too. Like, it just went really well, and none of the, like, I have all these horrible orphans all over my map, like, you know, Thievestown big chest, Skullwoods big chest. There's a key sitting on race game that I never got. I never checked Bonk Rocks. I never checked the Smith Chain. I never checked Pyramid Fairy, and just none of that stuff burned me for once, and it feels honestly a little bit good. Finally, could get a good one. But anyways, GG's, dude. You'll get me next time. If we just race tomorrow, you'll beat me. I guarantee you.
Man, I'm telling you, I haven't won a race in like 6 months.
Come at me after Yoshi farms me by 15 minutes in the first league final match, and you'll probably.
I guess I have to root for the other team now, right?
I guess so. You can honestly, like, what you do is you root for one team and then you bet on some team. I'm sure there's some market over in Asia that's taking odds on this tournament, right? But like, and then you feel good no matter what happens, just like I'm doing for the Super Bowl. So, anyways, thanks for doing the call, Zeke. I think if you're if you're doing that by yourself for a long time, I know that's a lot of hard work, and I'm gonna watch it back and feel good about myself for once before I go to bed.
I felt like I had to come commentate for my second favorite game mode.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites too, and I know Fear's a big inverted fan too, even though he's salty AF right now, and I don't blame him for being. But
I'm not that. I'm actually not that salty.
I know,
when losing becomes the norm, I feel like I'm the who's like, it used to be the Browns, but it's like,
no, it used to be the Bills, dude. This is what's happening, right? Like 2021. I guess the Bills kind of got smoked by the Chiefs, but like that wasn't. I mean, everyone knew that was going to happen, I feel. But yeah, it's I don't know.
I feel like, remember when the Lions went 0-16? That's what I feel like.
At least
at some point you're just used to losing. It's like,
At least you're not like the Jets, though, where you go like 1-15 and then you lose your top pick.
That actually might be closer to
you still have a Jets. Yeah. Maybe Trevor Lawrence will be suiting up for your next seed, dude. Anyways, I'm gonna take off. GG's again. Good talking to you, buddy, and thanks again, Zeke. Take care.
Hey, good luck in the finals.
Thanks, dude.
And Fear, do you have any final thoughts on this seed?
Yeah,
share.
Well, I felt okay about everything. I mean, the hook shot in Spike Cave is what it is, right? Like, you got to go to Saha to put that in logic. And I don't know who got it first, but I got it pretty late. And then
Frostbite did get first because he did Eastern and then bailed on.
Right. And so, you know, I was up on the mountain. I'm like, well, here's a pendant, and I have the big key, but I have so many other things I could do. And I, you know, made the choice to orphan it, and obviously that's where the last item I needed was. So I mean, I had swamp and ice and so many different like things I could do, and I'm like, do I really want to take the time? Because I already felt, like at that point I had cleared everything plus, right? Like I got the mirror out of logic. I found the bow in Mimic Cave and realized, okay, so there's the logic for the mirror. I felt super good about finding that mirror, and then turns out, it kind of ended up costing me a bunch. Because, if I didn't have the mirror, I would have definitely done Hera at that point. So, I don't know.
And that's just how Rando goes, isn't it, Fear?
Yeah, that's what it is. Thanks for doing comms and Pixie for tracking. Appreciate it. The only reason I forfeited was because I didn't want to make you guys wait longer. So.
We would have kept going for you, Fear, but
I mean, solo common's not easy. So appreciate y'all doing.
Thank
that.
you then. Thank you then. But, and again, big shout outs to Fear Agent and Frostbite for putting on an excellent show for us. Please give them a follow.
Yep. Thanks again. See ya.
And follow Professor Pixie, our tracker, and follow the Speed Gaming network of channels. And since I don't have a co-com to say it for me, if you want to, you can follow myself as well. From Speed Gaming, have a good rest of your day, whatever time it may be.